time to spill the secrets.
This is Universal Secrets with Tiffany Mack and Kevin Hale.
It's Tuesday night. You know what the hell that means.
It's Universal Secrets with
Secret.
Tiffany Mack and Kevin Hale.
Happy Tuesday, Tiffany. How are you?
I'm good. I was just looking for an extra pair of glasses because the blue ones aren't good enough.
Not enough?
Yeah. The blue ones aren't good enough. I wanted to find my pink ones for Bobby, but I don't know where they are.
All over. You can go get your pink glasses and I'll just rewind.
That's fine.
It is Universal Secrets here on this Tuesday night, September 21st. We are live streaming video on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. The audio is ERT Radio, our friends at ERT Radio shows. Thank you, Ron, Andy, and Bobby. Tiffany, it's our go-to, the UFO lore, aliens, lions and tigers and bears.
Yeah, this is the best part. Oh my.
It is. We are less than 4 weeks away from our party.
We are. And I've been really preparing for this for a long time. Jason, our guest, about what's happening. Contact at the compound here in October.
Yeah, real quick. Jason, can wait a couple minutes? What we got here, Tiffany?
We've got Contact at the Compound, second year, hence the two little alien heads at the bottom. We've got Micah Hanks, Sierra Neblina, Brent Sipley, Terry Lovelace, Rebecca Girasitano, and Jamin Olivencier, among other experiencers and friends of the show who are all going to try to stop in and say hello and make an appearance. We've got plenty of activities planned. We have a hunt for Bigfoot. I mean, as if you can call him on demand.
That would be the weekend he is found.
I know, right?
What are we going to do with him?
Well, I'm sure that we can figure something out and trank the guy and then, yeah, we'll see how that goes from there. And I'm not sure if you could contain a Bigfoot.
There's that word again. Contain,
like containing the secrets.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what we're preparing for. Everybody's probably sick and tired of it, but we
only shove it down their throats, for a few minutes every Tuesday night. So.
Right, exactly. So I've been making sites or signs for sites at like the camp areas, like the tenting areas.
Don't tell. I'm not
going to tell anybody the names because the names are going to be fantastic. So yeah, I've been painting and creating and stocking up on stuff that my husband says is absolutely ridiculous. So
just how we roll. And he's got a little bit of a ridiculous side too, but it's all in fun.
That's right. Yeah. If you saw the amount of equipment that he's invested into Bigfoot hunting, then you would say, Brent, it's a little ridiculous.
The boy and his toys.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Mm-hmm. And he's got to have the best of the best, or else it's not worth it to him. Yeah, so if he's going to invest in it, he's going to do it right.
As usual, we have our audience, our friends, watching, listening in the chat, doing their thing. There's already like 59 comments. Do the honors as you always do, Tiffany, on hashtag Tiffany Tuesday. And as my grandson says, date night with Tiffany. Who's hanging with us?
We have Wes. Bobby checked in at 7:35. He was number 2. Wes is number 1. We've got Marco. He showed up early tonight. Charles Smar signed in early. We've got Ron at Art Radio. Rodrigo from Portugal. He's checking in.
My man, Ron.
And yeah. And here's a new one. Guess who's listening tonight? Commanda.
I do. I
Commanda.
see, yeah.
Yeah. Comanda's in there, and Yuffie and Greg O'Brien and Dawn, my cousin, a fellow experiencer. And we've got, I know a few other people. I saw Maria in there, hashtag All Hail Tuesdays. And I know that Queen Colleen's out there and Erica. Sort of funny how we can always see the Facebook posts or the YouTube, but I don't see anything else. I don't see the Twitch or anything, so I'm not sure how that works, but I would love to be able to see that.
Have you ever used Twitch?
No.
You don't use Twitter either?
No.
So don't worry about those. As usual.
I need less social media. I need it to be more focused for me and condensed.
Okay.
And then that would be perfect.
I keep it focused.
Oh, you do? Awesome.
Yeah.
That's just your extra talent and input for the show.
I know my role here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Where's your red lips, by the way?
I decided to go with a more natural tone tonight.
Okay. They naturally look fine.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Let's get at it. Our guest tonight. Last week I was reminded, the whole bio thing that I put in the description of the show, and I got a little resistance from our show or our guest. Was it last week? I guess it was.
Yes.
Last week. So I'll just keep it this. Our guest is more than capable of speaking for themselves. But this is.
So was the last one. Don't make that distinction.
And the whip, and she had the whip, and I mean all that good stuff. I mean, where the hell? How did we? I don't know. Never mind. All right. So tonight again, UFOs, aliens. This is a guy, Tiffany. I have been a fan of. His hair too. His hair speaks for him. His hair game is strong, and trust me, I pay attention to those things. I got to do a show with him. It was a couple of years, maybe last year or something. It was when I was doing with Dwight and Jeremy, and he came on and killed it. And this is a guy that, he's a journalist, a podcaster, TV personality. He's funny, smart, looks and brains. I mean, this is the epitome of,
in fashion sense with the white glasses.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Jason, what's up?
And you hyped up my hair right when I need a haircut. Thanks a lot.
It looks great.
Looking good.
Great.
Well, thank you, Kevin and Tiffany. It's fantastic to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm glad we could finally do this.
Yeah.
Tiffany, I sent you a link. He was on Peter Robbins' show last night. Him, Ryan, and Shane, right?
Yeah, Shane Hurd.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think you all have? Were you on when Robert Salas was on there too? Or
right. Yes, same show.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I think we, splurge to have cool guests. Peter's always one-upping us. So, but he's pulling double duty. He was on doing a 2-hour show last night, and here he is tonight.
I know.
Jason, we still have some secrets to spill.
We do.
I would like to hear a new one now and then. So
wouldn't we all?
We were talking before the show. I was a little surprised that you two had not officially crossed paths, on a show or something. I mean, Jason, you're into all the UFO alien stuff, and Tiffany, you shared your stories, and you've been on lots of shows with your experiences, your takes.
Our digital paths have crossed for many, many, many years. So
probably running parallel at a time.
There's a big difference when you're sort of the local go-to girl versus the national and international go-to guy. There's a huge difference. Yeah.
Own it. Own it.
Yeah, I'm a real kick at the moms clubs.
Well, I'm going to read a little bit of the bio that I did put together.
You said you wouldn't.
Yeah, I know I lied. And that's, facts are kind of, truth is kind of optional on the show.
We occasionally get names wrong, dates wrong, places wrong.
Hey,
yeah,
but
that's allowed.
We're going to have fun, though. But, besides, being, I mentioned journalist, podcaster, TV personality, you've had your fair share of, been on your fair share of shows. And one of the last shows that you were on, and there's no... this is not a scripted show. People who follow us, watch us, know we will start here, and we may circle back to the here eventually, or maybe. But one of the cool shows that you did, you were on was Roswell: The Final Verdict. This was something that was on, I think, wasn't it on? It was on Discovery, part of
Discovery Plus,
and I think I watched the entire series on Discovery Plus. Very different perspective with that show. Share with share with us that experience of doing that show, and then let's go on and let's stay with Roswell, because you've got something going on next year with Roswell, and next year, Tiffany, it's the 75th anniversary.
75th anniversary, right?
So, Jason, talk to us.
Absolutely. So Roswell: The Final Verdict was an interesting show. It definitely caught my attention because, what we always hear with Roswell is, it's this old historical case. Why do we care about Roswell? We've heard it. It's been beaten to the ground over and over and over. Why are we still talking about Roswell? Well, number one, Roswell is still tremendously important as far as UFO cases go, especially now in light of the current seemingly renewed interest by the government in UFOs. So, that goes all the way back to Roswell and that initial cover up. So Roswell is always fascinating to me, and it always will be. But what sold me on this show was they wanted to bring something new to it with technology. And that's always the great thing that I love to look for in cases, is how new technology can be applied to old cases. And that's what they did with Roswell here. They used artificial intelligence, basically like a souped up lie detector, and applied it to old interview footage of these witnesses from Roswell, and people who had children who were alive at the time, or family members who were told stories through generations. They applied this technology to old audio recordings, to old video interviews, to determine whether or not these people were more likely telling the truth or fabricating something. So that was something really interesting to see, because that's really all we have to go on with Roswell is witness testimony. So much witness testimony and so many stories here and there, and they've morphed over the years. But applying this technology, of course, it's not just like a lie detector. It's not 100%. It's just giving you an indication of whether or not the software thinks it's more likely this person is telling the truth than they are lying. So
Go ahead, Ted.
We heard the people, Jesse Marcel and all these people talking about Roswell at the beginning, and they sort of kept the story for as long as possible. I'm interested to hear what kind of verdict they get from that. But when it comes to the human mind, I feel that when you tell yourself something over and over and over and over, you're going to believe it at some point, and it's going to become true. So it'll be interesting to see how they take a look at these people once again. And
newsflash, not to kind of put you on blast. No, that show has been.
It's all
out.
right. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's been out, but. Here's a question. This is kind of one of the questions I was going to ask. How reliable was that AI to you? So, Tiffany, just to bring you to speed, is that
I didn't see it. Obviously,
yeah, you didn't. Yeah, and I was going to give you my Discovery login, but Never mind.
Oh, yeah.
They also offer a free trial.
They do. And I was trying to, for that week, you could have nailed
I could
a
have.
bunch of shows.
I know. But now
But
it's just
That's what I did.
It's all a surprise to me. Come on, this is all fresh. That's a good
Well,
thing.
To Rodrigo's question, go ahead. You see it.
Yeah, sure. So the AI technology, you know, the specific one they used, we weren't informed very much about it. I had to do my own research into it, and even then, like I mentioned, it's the best way to think of it is like a souped up lie detector, which it's not going to be completely accurate. And you have other complications thrown in to this specific situation because the footage or the audio clips, whatever that they were analyzing, are very old, in very poor condition. So you've got that that could potentially complicate or interfere with the algorithms that are at work there. So, I mean, you have to understand that going into it. It is interesting, but it's not the final verdict, as this show, the name suggests. I think it's not solving anything. It's not answering any questions, but it does, perhaps lend support in favor of or against certain witnesses. But UFOs is an individual journey, and everybody has to make those determinations for themselves, what evidence they're going to consider and what evidence they're going to discard. So with this show, I found it fascinating. There were some major surprises to me personally. But again, I don't take that as 100% definitive proof what the results were of the AI. It's just, kind of a fascinating look and maybe lends credence to supporting or discounting some of the testimony.
Well, I know Tiffany hasn't seen it, so I don't mean to play the spoiler here on her, but what were some of those surprises or, things that you were like, really? Or maybe? Or
Well, I don't want to go too much into that now because that's going to, probably play in some of what I'm doing next year with Roswell. Nice. But I will say, to your point, Tiffany, about Jesse Marcel and the Marcels as a whole, because they do also have Jesse Marcel Jr. footage that they analyze there. But the Marcels through and through, passed with flying colors. And I've always firmly believed the stories that the Marcels have told. So I was really happy to see that.
I just remember when I was in college, my boyfriend, who's now a psychologist, they would practice lie detector tests on each other and practice telling false information over and over until you can pass the polygraph and pass these tests. And I mean, every single one of the students were able to do it by the end. So it's not like you have to be a genius or a mastermind in order to do this. So
to your point earlier, I'm a big Seinfeld fan, and there is an episode where Jerry Seinfeld is trying to beat a lie detector, and he asks his friend George how to do it because George, basically, his life is a lie. He lives a lie, and he says, "It's not a lie if you believe it."
Correct.
So to your point, if you say it over and over and over, and you convince yourself that that is true, it's probably going to come up as true.
That's a great point. Yeah. And going back to Roswell, Jason, that is the go-to. That's the word where, ears perk up, whether you're a researcher, a journalist, still perk up. An enthusiast, me, Tiffany experiencer, and the novel casual people. They know Roswell.
And that may be the only case that has ever crossed, the television for a general public too. Yeah. That's they're like, oh, well, Roswell, that's like, oh, is that in Nevada? That's where that first spacecraft crashed. That's the first one. It's like, well, it's not necessarily the first one, but it does make the impact for what we have tried to get information out about. That's what ufology is all about. That's very, very symbolic.
And one of the other things with Roswell, there's the infamous the memo. Who is that? Marcel? Was he the one holding the memo? He went during the little photo op with the aluminum foil.
The general was Roger
Oh,
Ramey.
yeah, right. Oh, that's right. He's on that memo, and there was always, I've heard, these shows recently, how the better technology is to be able to zoom in that and see and maybe figure out what that memo is saying.
Several shows have gone down that road and used different technologies and come to different conclusions. So, again, that's TV and it's different technologies. Yeah. So who knows? Again, you can choose which one you want to believe. But yeah, I've seen several technologies applied, several different attempted readings at that memo.
It's safe to say that it wasn't like a grocery list. I didn't see milk, eggs, bacon.
You didn't look hard enough.
Maybe I did look hard. So Jay, you also you're everywhere. Tell us about Rogue Planet.
Sure. So Rogue Planet is a company that I started with several of my friends and colleagues in the UFO world, with Ryan Sprague, Shane Hurd, and Maureen Ellsbury. And it's something that Maureen and I really started after our time at Open Minds. Open Minds was a UFO media company that we helped start back in, we started in 2008, I think, is when we started the initial planning stages for that, and it became a company in 2009. But we were with that organization until through, I think, 2015, and then it kind of fizzled out. So that was Rogue Planet was our thing we put together after that to sort of be an umbrella for all of the creative things that we do in this space. So podcasts, web series, news articles, whatever else we feel like doing at the time, that's kind of our umbrella company to do that. We've also done lectures at Comic-Cons and things under that umbrella. So it's really just this collaboration between me and my friends to do the weird things that we like to do.
I like doing weird things too, Tiffany, don't we?
Well, we're trying. This is the kind of guy that we need to discuss, like, process and see if we could come up with anything new over the next few years when it comes to holding a small UFO conference. Somebody who's done it before and done it well.
And one thing I definitely want to do, and this is the co-host in me, Tiffany, is because you two have not officially crossed paths on the show. Mm-hmm. You as an experiencer, sometime tonight, whether it's now or whenever you feel comfortable, I want you to share with him some of your experiences, and I want to get his take.
One of the ones that might be interesting is my UFO. So maybe that should be the one that we start with. You want to do that?
I would love that.
It's half years. The show is half years.
The thing is, I don't really talk about UFOs very often because I grew up in a military environment. I was raised around all different kinds of aircraft, whether it's different types of helicopters, different types of airplanes, spy planes and all these different types of drones. And I grew up with so much in the air and being conscious and aware of it that UFOs sort of didn't ever really interest me. But there is one UFO sighting that I had that was spectacular. And it is what brought me into this world. Before 2000, and I always forget what year it was. Anybody that has access to MUFON reports can look it up and find out exactly the date. But I believe it was in 2015 in October, and I was down in Destin, Florida, and I was overlooking the ocean. I had a condo that overlooked the water, and it was crystal clear night. The moon was massive, just rising over the ocean, and the water was still as glass. It was 10 o'clock in the evening, 10:15. And I saw this massive light, and it came straight down from above. And it was so bright. It was brighter than anything I'd ever seen. and it sort of hovered a little bit, and then it went down into the water, and I saw the light sort of spread out in under the water, and it was very shocking. I'd never seen anything like this. In my brain, there's running all different types of things. It could be flares, fireworks, something falling like a chunk of satellite. I don't know. There's all of these things that are falling through my mind as I'm seeing this happen. And I suddenly think, my God, this is going to be all over the news. What the hell was that? And I run inside, and coincidentally, I had a girlfriend who was visiting me, and she was former Air Force, had been at Langley for years, and her husband was an F-35 instructor and trainer and pilot for years. And so I told her, I was like, you've got to come out here. There was this light that came down, and I don't know what it was. It's going to be all over the place. What do you think it could have been? And she's like, I have no idea. And the sky was completely clear and quiet, and there was no activity. Now, we're about 20 miles away from Eglin Air Force Base. So it really didn't make me think, oh shit, it's a UFO. I was thinking maybe something was going on at the base that was some kind of training exercise. So my mom was friends with the commanding officer, and between the two of us, we sort of tried to figure out what was going on, and he confirmed that there was nothing going on, no practices and this and that, and there was nothing on the news either. And that was very shocking to me. That was the first time that I realized, holy crap, not only is it a UFO, which I ended up looking up places to, report a UFO and see if anybody else had seen it. So I went to MUFON and gave my report and just sort of waited. But, you being a person who would be considered sort of a military brat, I was genuinely shocked. And this is after I had worked on a NATO base and NSA Suda Bay. Had already worked on these two bases of my own in Greece for multiple years. And this was totally new and different. And I never got an answer. But the interesting part is that it was a UFO, but it was also a USO. So it went from the sky into the water. And that's what sort of, grabbed me and forced me into this world. It's not everybody gets forced into the UFO world, but this really pushed me. And realizing later that I had missing time while on those bases, I felt a connection. There's something that has been drawing me in for so many years. And it was just at in 2015, it was undeniable. I couldn't deny it anymore. And I had these experiences, and it was the bug that bit me and drug me in and
it was undeniable hold. Because you 100% at that moment, 100% sure could not identify it because of your background. You
right.
could not identify that.
Right. No alcohol,
that had to be the
no
ultimate
drugs,
mind.
no. There was, and my mind was clear as a bell. I was not, incapacitated in any fashion. So, I always think about how valid some of these sightings are when people are out getting drunk and, oh my God, there's a UFO. That wasn't like that for me. So, it's still shocking to me to this day, and it'll never leave me, that sight.
Jump in, Jeremy. Or Jeremy.
Wow, that's awesome.
Jeremy.
Yeah, and
sorry.
I love hearing your analytical mind at work, and just how that familiarity with military and military bases and things in the sky helped you go through that process. Mm-hmm. And that's totally what I do too. Mm-hmm. And I grew up near a military base, near an Air Force base, and so I saw, in addition to Air Force Base, pretty close to a training range too, to a bombing range.
Oh, yeah.
So I saw flares of all kinds dropped all the time. It gave me a good baseline for being able to quickly identify those.
Well, and I worked on a NATO missile firing installation. So, I mean, if I'm going to see it and recognize it, that would be fine, but it was not recognizable.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Is there a moment? What got you into the game, Jason? I mean, did you have an experience, or is it just passion?
What pulled me in initially was a job, right? It was Open Minds. I was essentially recruited and hired to help start a UFO media company. And to that point, I didn't have any interest in UFOs aside from the same interest that everybody in the general public has, from a pop culture sense of, growing up with a love of sci-fi and watching, Star Wars and Star Trek. I'd seen UFOs, obviously I'm from Phoenix. I was here for the Phoenix Lights. I saw that. But, even with that experience, and I did have a deep love for space and had a curiosity for, the things that are out there and the possibilities that could be. But I didn't really have a passion or anything for UFOs, hadn't done any UFO research or anything like that. It was being presented with a job where I had to very quickly go down the rabbit hole and get up to speed, do a lot of reading, do a lot of meeting the key players in the field, because I was thrown into it pretty fast, especially when we brought on the International UFO Congress, and all of these leading players in the field are all of a sudden, knocking down our door, wanting to be friends with us, wanting to speak at our conferences and be in our magazine and things like that. So it was a very quick journey for me. It kind of fell into my lap, and after doing that full time for like 7 or 8 years, there have been a couple times here and there where I thought I was done with UFOs. Well, this is kind of not fun anymore. I'm moving on. It always pulls me back. I mean, it's been a big part of my life. I love this topic. I love, the mystery of it all. I love the unknown. So that constant pursuit, that constant chase for this potentially unsolvable mystery keeps bringing me back over and over again.
Well, you mentioned the Phoenix Lights. So that was in 1997. So that experience, did you actually see something?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I watched it for 45 minutes.
No shit. Well, describe that. What did you see?
Stationary lights that didn't move, didn't change in their appearance at all, didn't flicker, didn't make a sound. Just a series of lights that remained stationary overhead.
Okay, so
for
yours is
45
stationary,
minutes.
but
Yep.
there's the stories too where this mile-long object was just
Right.
floating.
And
Right.
how far were you from it?
It's impossible to tell. I'm not trained in ascertaining height of things, but I don't remember. It was so many years ago. I like to say that it was maybe at 20,000 feet or lower, maybe 15, but I don't know. But when I looked up, it was directly overhead, and it was in that constant position for 45 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Ron from Earth Radio says, what are the Phoenix Lights? Is it a mental manipulation? Have you ever come across that idea?
The thing about the Phoenix Lights is there's so much going on with the Phoenix Lights, right? I mean, you hear so many different stories from what people experienced that night. And even the military's official explanation for it doesn't align with the time when these things happen,
Right.
or the stories that witnesses share. So the Phoenix Lights is such a convoluted mess to me. I don't know what to make of it. I really don't.
In 97, I'm an adult then. To me, that is one of the most fascinating stories, events, because there was literally thousands of people who saw something, either saw what you saw the stationary lights, saw this object floating over. Now, I mean, I don't know. I say now, but what was the actor who's a pilot? Kurt Russell. he's come out and acknowledged seeing something. The governor eventually, after that bullshit, whatever the
press conference
he did, to me, because of the amount of people, the sheer size of this, why is that not like one of the most top, why is that like not at the, to me, that's like on my list of, UFO stories, lore, that's probably definitely top 5, but it doesn't feel like it gets the attention it should. Lisa,
people have short attention spans. I mean, things come and go, right? I mean, it was only a few months ago that, we're getting things here and there, but, the U.S. government talking about UFOs, that's kind of weird and strange, and people went nuts with it for a while, but nobody's talking about it anymore in the general public.
I got to show this because this is why I love our friends. I thought you were 28. I'm almost twice that age.
Remember, he has 4 kids.
Yeah, and 3 grandkids. But my kids tell me routinely, Dad, will you just grow up?
Oh.
That'd be a problem if you were 26.
Yeah. So, but going back, so you're recruited, you're brought in to be part of this new thing, and you had like 0 experience, UFO experience. Is that what I'm hearing?
Did you have an interest in it from childhood or anything?
Just an interest in the unknowns of space and the possibilities that exist. I was a huge Star Trek fan, Star Trek Next Generation, just to be clear. And so sci-fi was my go-to. But aside from that and pop culture, there really wasn't any deep interest, even after the Phoenix Lights. Of course, I was curious about it. It was a very strange experience, and I was very curious to find out what it was. Never got that answer, but just starting Open Minds. I went into it cold.
I like the name Open Minds because I think a lot of people have such limited views on topics and are very stubborn about really delving in and trying to change those or educate themselves on the alternative to what they like to believe. But did you ever have an experience where you believed, oh my God, this stuff is real and I've got to explore it more, or was this just basic job?
Have you been probed, Jason?
I am not asking if he's been probed, Kevin.
It's possible, but it's also possible that I wouldn't know, right? So I mean, going to one extreme, yes, I've been told by several experiencers that they've seen me aboard ships. So I've been told that. I have no memory of anything like that.
That's a good point.
I have seen at least a dozen UFOs that I haven't been able to later identify. So I've seen lots of strange things in the sky, but because of the unique experience I've had in a professional setting, I've gotten pretty good at identifying things in the sky. But that being said, there are about a dozen or so objects I've seen that I haven't been able to explain. None of those have really had a deep, meaningful impact on me other than to continue to fuel my interest in this topic and keep exploring. So that's really as deep as it gets with me in personal experiences. I mean, I've had some pretty good UFO sightings, but aside from being told by multiple people on multiple occasions that they've seen me aboard craft, that's about it.
You alluded to a moment ago that you were kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out of this whole UFO thing, and I've shared this story before, and I'll say it again. Tiffany and I we first met in 2016, hit it off, and we just, this thing for the paranormal and UFOs. And I do another podcast, and she was on with me where we did these one-offs together about the paranormal. And she had to, for some, for reasons, she had to stop doing the show. And so I stopped talking about it. But at that point, at the end of 2016, I kind of like man, these same stories, or we were just talking about the same stuff to me. It's great to have different people, but I was kind of hearing the same thing. So at that point, I was kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And uh, then December 2017, the news dropped from the Times, and that brought both feet back in. What was that moment? I mean, you like I said, you alluded to that you were kind of like pumping the brakes on the UFO thing, but what was it that got you back?
Well, it's happened so many times. I will say this: you will see a lot of UFO researchers, UFO enthusiasts, people just casually in this field, or people who have this as their profession, in really any field. UFO burnout is real, and social media fuels that. It's really hard to avoid negativity.
We're going to go there.
It does exist in the field, but that's human nature. It exists everywhere. But in a field you're in and you're passionate about, it's really hard to avoid the things that do drag you down, that are emotionally draining. And at various points, throughout my career, I've reached a point where I felt like, why am I doing this? This certainly isn't how I make my living. I do this because I'm passionate about it. But is it still fun for me? Am I still getting anything out of this? Because you do invest a lot of time and energy and emotion into, the things we do here, especially creating podcasts, creating web series, writing books, things like that. So it's really hard to feel motivated to understand why you're doing what you're doing. So there have been several points, and several of my colleagues too. I see them periodically post things about that, how they're taking a step back, or how they don't know how much longer they're going to do the UFO thing, because the burnout is real. But once it has its hooks in you, it does bring you back. When I have time to step back, kind of recollect my thoughts, and realize why I do this. It brings me right back, and I have no regrets about that, and I don't think UFOs will ever leave me. It's always going to be a part of me.
The business is picking up, though. Isn't that fair to say? I talked about December of 2017. That I personally, I didn't know of those videos. I know they had actually been out since, I think they were on YouTube, if I heard right, like in 2007. So they've been out, and you probably have seen those. That was new to me, that whole thing. And man, it was like a kid at a candy store. I mean, it was like, wow, I'm back in, and I've stayed connected. June, was it June 26th? The report, UAP report, in June, that dropped. Which, we present company, and I'm sure most of the people watching, listening, they weren't dazzled. We knew that there was not going a 9-page report that really was maybe 4 tops of information. They only go back to 2004 for stuff. What is right now? What gets your juices going? I mean, what is it? What's going on now?
So, I mean, I come across as a Debbie Downer. I really do, because military and UFOs is not really my thing. It's not something I focus on. I do think it has incredible value for the general public and public education, helping the public realize that UFOs are indeed real, and encouraging scientists and others to get involved in the study of UFOs. But when it comes to the military, I'm still very, very hesitant when it comes to the military. And I understand what the military is. I understand what the government is and what their roles are, and what they're going to tell us about this and what they're not going to tell us about this. And, it's my personal opinion that they don't really know all that much about it. And they're showing that. And as we can see, just the inner workings of the government and how the government works, and how things like that report come together. If you know anything about the report, how it was assembled, the people doing the assembling, these are just people who are going and essentially sending emails to various departments and branches saying, "Hi, can we have your UFO information, please?" And those people are saying, "Yeah, see you later, buzz off, I'm not going to bother you, I'm busy." the military, the individual branches, yes, we're all on the same team, but they still are individual branches. They do have competition. They do try to outdo each other. They're not going to share their latest and greatest technology with everybody. And, it might surprise some people to hear, but a lot of secret technology, most, if not all people in Congress have zero idea that these projects even exist. I mean, reading the history of the U-2 is fascinating because Congress had not a clue that that existed until one crashed in Russia. Then the cat was out of the bag and they had to deal with it. But these programs exist, and the people creating these projects and running these projects aren't going to freely give it to some temp who calls up and says, "Hi, can I have information you have about UFOs?" It's not going to happen. So the report was not surprising. Those people had no incentive to reveal everything they know, and they shouldn't. Again, it's military and government. Government secrets, military secrets exist for a reason. We don't need to go broadcasting everything we know to the world, because that, my friends, is a security threat. But, it's very interesting looking at UFOs from a military's perspective and looking at it, and everything we're seeing right now and how UFO fans are celebrating everything the government's doing. But I'm not putting my eggs in that basket.
My grandfather was in the Strategic Air Command. He was brought into intelligence at a very young age and stayed in it for his career. And one of the things he said before he passed away, I talked to him and told him that I'd been experiencing visitations, and the big thing was, I was like, why don't the presidents know? Why don't the governments just come out and say it? And the funny thing was, he said, I said, what is your clearance level? Is it the equivalent of a president? And he goes, you know who the president is? And I was like, yeah. He goes, about 16 levels above that. And I said, well, why would you know more than him? And he said, why would you give all your information to somebody who could only be in office for 4 years?
A temp employee, yeah.
A temp employee. And that's what our presidents are. They are, yes, the head, but it's a temporary position that does not need to know all of the dirty secrets that will weigh heavy upon them and not be able to do anything about it. So it's very shocking, but true.
Yeah.
And one of your, you've shared this many times, but I want Jason to hear it. One of your last questions to your grandfather, R.I.P.
Yeah, he, the thing was, he was in his right mind until the end. His heart was failing. And what's funny is, for years, I'll get back to the comment, but for years, he wanted to have his consciousness and head transferred onto another body. He did not want to die. This was cryo freezing, cryo chambers. This was something that he fully believed in.
Didn't know that.
And he obviously didn't have enough money to do it. And he said, it's about finances. He goes, I don't have enough money to do it, but this is what I want to do. I don't want to stop. And I know they're doing it. I know they can transfer consciousness. And so that was something that was really shocking to me, because that seemed very science
What
fiction.
year was that? Tiffany?
I mean, he said it his whole life. From the beginning, that's what he'd always say it. And the last time I heard him say it was on, his deathbed. He died a few days later. I wish I could transfer my consciousness into another body, because I don't want to end. This can continue. So what he knew about that, we'll never fully know.
Yeah.
But the thing that I said to him that has really stuck with me and my family was that I told him I've been in contact with at least 6 different types of species, and I just want to know, do you think I'm crazy? And he said, I said, do you believe me, and do you think I'm crazy? And he said, I would have to say you're crazy. And that hurt. And I was like, oh shit. And I was like, but really, I've had all of these. And he said, listen to me. I would have to say you're crazy. And I said, do you think it? He goes, no, but I would have to say you're crazy. And so, he said it multiple times to repeat that message. The message
Can he
was
finally like raise up from the bed? It's like, listen to what I'm saying.
pretty much like get it through your bleach blonde skull. No, but yeah, but it's like that was such a confirmation in the context. And it made me feel like, holy crap, I need more time. I need more time with him too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a little freaky and upsetting that I couldn't transfer his consciousness so that I can talk to him
Right.
more.
Yeah. Wow.
That's it. I didn't. Yeah, some of that I didn't know, Tiffany.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
Did he believe in the afterlife?
Did he not believe me?
Oh, did he not believe in the afterlife? I would have to ask. I would have to ask my mom and her sisters. So I'm not sure. Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, here's a good comment from Charles. If the government officially admitted that ET was visiting, how much of your tax dollars would you want to send to the Saudis to protect the oil? Charles. Oh,
Cha-ching.
Charles.
Cha-ching. Politics.
I know it. Yes. Oh my gosh. The path of enlightenment researching all. There's some good comments going on.
Yeah,
Steve wants to say, and I find much confirmations in my spiritual awakening due to deep spiritual experiences I've had myself. My path of enlightenment and researching about all this.
That's deep.
It is as much a spiritual conquest or a spiritual quest as it is a physical and scientific. So, some people are a little bit more invested, whether it's their financial investment, time, energy, or just, the strain of mental anxiety when it comes to all of these topics. I've talked to people who were really distraught about seeing a craft that moved erratically across the sky, just as much as it would have been in a situation of meeting an occupant or a spiritual traveler. Have you noticed that, Jason?
Everybody reacts differently. They really do. So, and who knows why that is? Lots of people have questioned, if there's not something being physically done to experiencers, people even just seeing craft, if there's something that's interacting with our physiology, because people do have physical reactions, and other people don't. But even with the most calm sighting, some people are just completely paralyzed. They don't pull out their phone, they don't talk to other people, they're just kind of frozen while it's all happening. It's just remarkable to hear all the different stories and different ways people react to different situations.
Going back to the the report, the kind of the follow up to that recently, Jason, was there's this office that the government is now going to put together. You've heard of that, right?
It's possible. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, possible. I thought it was like a sure thing. So it's not.
The wording is in a bill, and the bill has to pass.
Oh, that's
and this is how the report we just got this summer came to be. There are two bills right now. There's one in the House and one in the Senate. They do different things, and neither is very good in my opinion. But the one that wants to set up an actual UFO office we've kind of knew that was coming, because the UAP task force is a temporary job. It's a temp position set up to accomplish a task, and then it's done. So there's been talk about replacing the UAP task force with a more permanent situation, and that's what they're talking about doing right now. However, the problems that were with the report are still going to be the case in this new office. This new office is very limited in its scope, in what it's looking at. And yes, they're going to do quarterly reports. Again, if this actually comes to fruition, they're going to issue quarterly reports, but those reports specifically say that they're going to be classified. So how does that help the public? Not at all.
Exactly.
That's a good point. A lot of
Yeah.
redacting there.
But yeah, it's in a bill right now that has to pass the House, then the Senate, then the president has to sign it into law. And as we saw with the UAP report that we just got this last summer, that started about this time last year, and it bounced around from bill to bill to bill to bill until finally landing in that giant omnibus spending bill that Donald Trump signed at the end of the year. So that's what we're waiting on to happen with this thing. It's probably going to bounce around from bill to bill to bill until it finds its final home. Then once it's enacted, that's when all of the language comes into play with the timeline for reports and things like that.
But it's not going to go away, in my opinion.
Go away from what? How do you mean?
Well, I think it's still until mainstream media is talking about it. I'm not a big Fox News guy, but my man Tucker, I'll give him credit. He's putting a documentary or kind of a series, right? Do you know about that, Jason?
I think it's a documentary, but I don't know.
Right. Yeah. All right. So my point is that there is still mainstream media conversation. So it's not going away at that level.
Right. I don't think it ever will. I mean, it's always been there, and I think it always will be.
Well, has it at the mainstream media level without the X-Files music in the background, though, Jason?
We still have plenty of that today. We still have plenty of that today. Okay. I will grant you it. Depending on the story, it has gotten slightly better, but it's always been a very popular topic in pop culture. Mainstream news outlets have covered it, and mainstream media outlet covers UFOs every single day all around the world. So,
okay, I like the way you think.
Yeah, Maria comments, "Don't trust the government whistleblowers." I have a sort of a question that piggybacks just that comment. We had J. Allen Hynek, who came out with his reports. We also had Luis Elizondo, who came out with his information. Who are they going to get?
More coming soon in a book.
Yes. Who would they get, knowing that people on the inside have been sharing the dirty little secret at every turn?
Great question.
Somebody who has,
that again?
With the people that they've chosen in the past with this information, and it's come out. Who would they choose? Somebody else to come over and eventually share the dark side of the information, whether they wanted them to or kept secret or all of that. Who are they? Who would choose?
Who's choosing?
For the new task force, for the new people in this office.
Oh, I got to. Okay, see.
Right. And
what type of person would they choose?
I think they're going to choose who they've chosen before, and that's whoever happens to have some free time on their agenda during the day. It's just going to be some random schmuck, and they go, "Here, you do this right now." I think that's how it's going to be. People,
you don't have a lot of faith in this, do you?
Well, I know how government works, first of all, but they don't have a team of UFO experts. That's why they get briefed on their UFO information by UFO researchers. And the circle just goes around and around where, who knows where the information is coming from. Right. Because all this stuff we hear about government crash retrieval programs, that's not coming from the government. That's coming from, somebody who served as a government subcontractor at some point. Mm-hmm. These stories just get spun around and around and around, and we think this is the government saying this, or information coming from, the government because they're the holders of the secrets. But what they're telling us, they've been lobbied by people who are pushing a UFO agenda. And that's really what's come to fruition with everything we've seen. It's the result of lobbying by Chris Mellon and Luis Elizondo. And why? What is their motivation behind it? We don't know. Are their efforts genuine? I don't know. I would like to think so. They're both fantastic guys, but I don't know. This whole thing is very strange and bizarre to watch play out. But as far as who to put on, an official UFO organization within the government, I think it's just going to be some expendable government employees who can be shifted around to that position at that time.
That's fair. You mentioned Christopher Mellon, Luis Elizondo. And you also talked about some of or allude to the fact that there's this disdain, there's this love-hate. When 2000, the videos came out in December 2017, there was some maybe not to you, but for some of us, for me, I'll speak for me. Elizondo, never heard of him. Christopher Mellon, never heard of him. Jeremy Corbell, never heard of him. George Knapp, heard of him. These are some of the kind of the new voices from my perspective that showed up, in December 2017 and to now. They're they're the faces, if you will, at least from my perspective, on national media, on these documentaries. And they, depending on who you talk to, I mean, there's a bunch of supporters within the ufology community, UFO community, and there's a lot of detractors. Where do you stand when it comes to these guys?
I take everybody individually. I mean, I think it's very dangerous to, hitch firmly to a wagon and not be willing to remove that hitch. I mean, we all are on our individual journeys, and you can't blindly follow someone just because you think they're cool or they're fun to hang out with. I certainly don't do that. There isn't a person that I've met in the UFO field who I do that with. I'm very good friends with, much of the UFO community, even people I strongly disagree with and don't share the same views with. And that's just human nature. We're all different. We all have different beliefs. And that's how it should be. But I respect these people, and I'm friends with many of them, but I do not share the same views as a lot of people in the UFO field. So when that happens, I've met Lou several times, and he's a great guy, but how do I know whether the information he's sharing or, is accurate or his motives are genuine? I don't know that. So you always have to keep that in the back of your mind. You don't want to just not be an untrusting person. But when we're talking about topics like this, it takes a lot to convince me 100% of something you're telling me is true. So
is it possible that Elizondo, Mellon are part of some agenda that they're just trying to?
Of course it's possible. Again, we have to be open-minded. We have to entertain all possibilities because all possibilities are on the table. We just don't know. I mean, these people magically showed up, conveniently given a platform with To the Stars, and then all of a sudden, through their lobbying, got exact wording into a bill and essentially formed a UAP task force, and are pushing things and giving briefings and making things happen in Congress. So this isn't accidental. There is a plan in place, and what's behind that plan, I don't know. So you always kind of have to be on guard. And we're talking about intelligence people too, people in the intelligence and counterintelligence community. I mean, these are the games that are played. You can't just ignore that fact too. So it's interesting to see it play out. I will certainly read Lou's book when it comes out. He claims he's going to, share new information, which I find hard to believe because he's on every single podcast there is. And all sorts of TV
documentaries and shows.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, like his book can't be released without getting the green light from the DoD. They have to authorize what he says, because what he's talking about is stuff that he did while he was active duty, and he still does work for the government. So they have to okay the book. So I don't think there's going to be any big bombs that drop. You might share a little more details about, the time he spent on a project or, something that he saw and interpreted as being fantastic. But I mean, we'll have to wait and see.
There's a comment here from Steve. Government had tech to simulate space alien abduction experiences for a couple decades. Research it. Have you found that to be fairly accurate?
That's certainly heard a lot of stories about that. I mean, even Travis Walton, was entertaining the possibility that what he experienced was some sort of government op that was going on. So who knows? Who knows?
I have been very confused about that on many occasions because I had missing time episodes while I was working for the DoD as a contractor on a NATO base, which I just so happened to be in a building by myself.
Wow.
alone a
Yeah.
lot.
Tiffany, you've shared this story, driving on, I don't know, is it 75 or whatever,
75,
going past
right,
Wright
Patterson.
Patterson.
Yeah.
What's happened? You've experienced?
Almost every single time I drove, when I was alone, almost every single time I drove, I would be completely shut down. I would have to pull off the road, to the point where it was almost complete and utter. I'm going unconscious. Get off the road.
Wow.
And it would range from 20 minutes to sometimes 2 hours, and I wouldn't have a clue what was going on, but it was like I was being forced off the road at that point. And it was only that area, same piece of road every single time. And I drove that a lot. I had a boyfriend in Cleveland, and I just, took that route up from Louisville, Kentucky, straight up there. And it never failed. I didn't really have any concept of what it could be until later. And there were times when I was on base, like I said, and I got so uncomfortable and freaked out that I would bring my Belgian Shepherd, which was 100 pounds or 140 pounds of Black Death, because I started getting so scared. There was something going on and I didn't understand it. And, that's the length that I took to do that. But, I was thinking about Tom DeLonge and To the Stars Academy. How exactly do you think that came about, and what's your involvement with Mr. DeLonge?
Sure. So, I guess it kind of happened the same way. At some point, I guess I was still at Open Minds at this time, and Tom called me and asked me to come work with him because he was starting this new company called To the Stars. So he wanted me and my colleague Maureen Ellsbury to come work as he was launching this company to help, get the website ready and get content on the website and everything, so it was ready when they launched the company. So from that moment, and even earlier than that, I think, Tom had shared with me stories about what his vision was, what he wanted to accomplish, what he was doing, and some of the meetings that he was having with, some pretty important sounding people in the government. Mm-hmm. And so, I know Tom worked really hard at it. He did get access to a lot of pretty incredible people because of his rock star status. People question that, but it's very easy to get some of these people to say, "Oh yeah, my grandkids love Blink-182. Yeah, we'll definitely let Tom in here, and my grandkids will think I'm cool." Yeah. So, Tom did work his butt off.
You gonna sing a song for us? Give me one of their songs. Come on.
No.
No.
Come on. It's too late in the day for that. Come on. But yeah, no, he did work really hard and had this vision in mind. But the formation of his team really is interesting to. It was interesting to watch unfold, and it's interesting when you think back on it and see how much it changed when we finally had the announcement of To the Stars Academy in October of 2017, because this was a whole different group, from what he had been the people he'd been talking to, because he says the government, whoever his government leads were he was talking to, he had a set of government advisors, he called them. So they were helping him form his team. That's interesting in of itself. Who knows what motivations were? Everybody's asked these questions. Why would they do this for a rock star? But give credit to Tom. He did create a platform for these people, and certainly we see it with everything that Chris Mellon and Lou Elizondo accomplished. They were given that platform. They took it and they ran with it and made waves. So, and then WikiLeaks happened. Tom's emails were exposed and showed his discussions with certain generals, with people in the government, and that kind of derailed a lot of the plans. And he planned to launch To the Stars Academy much earlier than it did, but WikiLeaks really put the brakes on things, and they had to kind of restructure and put that all together. But it is interesting how it all came together. I don't know why it all came together, why the individual people were chosen, who those gatekeepers were, these government advisors.
You were chosen, though.
Well, I was chosen, yes, and I mean, I'm
All right,
pretty
can
sure
you-
I
can you
have
explain?
plenty of FBI records, I'm sure, because as we know, they do keep tabs on UFO researchers. So,
So what's Assange got on you?
well, my emails aren't important enough to release. I mean, I think I might have sent Tom a dick pic or two, but
Maybe that's how you got on
That's
board.
the
Maybe,
fucking sound
maybe.
bite of the
Hey.
night.
you got to do what you got to do. But hey, I know what Tom likes.
That's
Wow. So he's gay? Interesting.
No, he's not. Tom just likes to have fun. No, we like to pinch each other's nipples. That was always fun.
Oh my goodness. Wow, this I thought that I got into some kind of kinky field. Now it's been confirmed.
Well, I don't have a whip on this episode, but
Oh,
Just think about the
well,
last two episodes. What the hell?
yeah, where are you guys
I kind
going
of
with
like.
the
I
show?
kind of like where we're going. Whatever this place
This is
we're
a
going.
good. This is a good path. Yeah.
this is 2 weeks in a row we're talking about nipples.
Yeah, there you go.
Purple nipples.
Yeah,
There
last
you
week.
Have you ever been on a nude beach, Jason?
Oh, that was right. She mentioned that.
Because I have, and Nikita has.
You were. I didn't.
I want to
Oh,
say
yeah.
no.
Does your mom
I want to
know
say
that?
no. I don't think
She's
I have.
listening and watching. Does your
My
mom know you were
mom-
there?
I'm sure she does. She's probably
does
like,
now.
I hope you covered up.
Wait, you're at a nude beach, and I hope you cut.
You know what was interesting is
You missed the nude part.
yeah, there were like some shady guys from the Taliban checking out the beach from across the way with these like really long lensed cameras.
They're
And-
still men.
And I went
Is
over
there
and
still
started
that?
yelling at them, and I broke their camera.
For
Good for
real?
you.
I did. Let's just say
Come
I got
on.
a little
You're at a
irate.
nude beach, and,
And
you're
you shouldn't have
probably nude.
perverts taking pictures of the
There's
only
etiquette.
blonde
Come
on
on.
the nude
There's
beach.
etiquette. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
There's
etiquette.
Yeah,
You know,
that's fair. All right.
yeah. If you're gonna bear all, I don't want 5 dudes taking pictures of me to post on
Right.
the internet.
Yeah.
So
Just for
no, none. How
None.
about that? Yeah, yeah.
pics, we got all. We're covering all the food groups tonight, guys.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
How many nipples does an alien have? Look at this one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Alien nipples.
How many do they have?
How many?
Depends
I don't know.
depends on the alien.
It probably
Maybe.
depends on the stage of development, because don't
True.
humans have 8 nipples to begin with?
Well, and think about animals. Think about dogs. You know, dogs don't have consistent number of nipples. I mean, they have a number that most dogs have, but it varies.
If someone is literally jumping on watching this show, starting
This
to
is
watch
the
show,
weirdest UFO
yeah,
show ever.
Exactly.
Oh, in England, apparently in England, they don't have sex.
No,
Tracy Austin.
Stone Cold Tracy Austin.
Tracy, I don't believe you. I know that you're too proper.
You
She's like, I just can't.
You can or can't.
I just can't. I can't believe it.
Hello, Tracy. By the way, glad you're here.
Yeah, Tracy's. I love Tracy Austin. Yeah, Jay.
I'm sorry, I derailed the show talking about
No.
nipples.
Hey, this is a conversation.
Last week y'all were talking about, I don't say boob. Men do not say boob. Tit. There was in the chat people
I
were
like you're
saying their-
motioning.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. We're sharing their size and all something. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Even I
Yeah,
was,
somebody said, "Well, I'm a 42, honey. I
No, well,
totally
no.
get it."
and Kay started. it.
She did.
I mean,
No,
she
she
just-
did. It didn't start in the chat. It ended in the
That's
chat.
Ended in the chat.
Jason, Tiffany alluded to experiences that she's had, different species. What's your take with the whole alien species thing? Because last count I've heard was it 50, 60 something?
Something
Tiffany.
like 58, 64, 200 million.
I think it's probably closer to 200 million for sure.
That's what I'm going towards.
Yeah, I mean, again, I have no conscious personal experience with that, but heard so many stories over the years, and I mean, really, if we are going to realistically accept that that is our reality, that there is life in the universe, obviously, it's going to be infinite because of what we know about space. Space is infinite, so that's how many different civilizations there will be.
Who's controlling
That's
the
my
show
thought.
here? Are we controlling the show? I mean, assuming that they're here, they've been here. Who's running the show?
Hopefully
Jason, I
not
mean,
humans, because humans are
yeah,
pretty awful.
yeah, we pretty good at fucking up things. But if they are, what is? I mean, I think I've asked this question in the past on past shows, Tiffany, and someone maybe you have said, all right, like you go to the zoo, you're just looking at the animals, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I mean, but eventually, right now, this world is in a state of disarray. I mean, we're literally divided. There's a line. We're either on one side or the other. And I mean, Jason, depending on who you believe, and I'm a believer, the planet is 4 billion years old. I think that what's going on tonight may have existed 10 billion years ago. It's potentially recycled. Things has been discovered. This is my take. Discovered in the past. I can buy into the notion that
We're a science experiment, and this is like the fifth generation
yeah,
of
they're hitting what's the
experimentation,
redo
fifth
button or
civilization of
whatever, Office Depot. What do you? I don't know.
I think we're
Whatever that
stuck on repeat.
Yeah. Are we getting close to that? I mean,
Are you saying, like, if you think about it, our known civilization is maybe 10,000 years at most, and for the most part, we only know about 4,000 years of history? And then we talk about all of these other extinct civilizations. Maybe we're constantly on repeat. Oh, these people suck. We're going to send a nice little flood and get rid of most of them, and then we're going to start over. Do you think it's something like that?
I think it certainly could be. And I mean, you're right. We rely on, written language for the history that we know about, but it's so easy to forget that, or just to lose sight of the fact that we as humans really don't know that much. We don't know much about our own existence. We don't know much about our own planet, let alone the universe. So, I don't think humans are where we should look for answers, because we clearly don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's fascinating to think about things like that, though.
That's why I have to take Ambien at night, because I would
you
never
go.
go to sleep.
Right?
This shit keeps noodling in my head.
Yep, I
But,
get it.
going back in the big picture of us, the planet, whoever, whatever we are, technology, it could be argued, if you buy into the Roswell thing, since 1947, think about it, since in the 40s for sure, probably 47, the amount of technology that where we're at right now, it's boomed. Think about what the hell was going on before 1947 or in the 40s, and how far along we've come technology wise. How can you explain that,
Well,
Jason Sensation?
of course, it's always possible. We can entertain the possibility that we did get help along the way. That's something I'm certainly willing to entertain. But I also know that although humans are pretty awful, they're pretty smart too, and have accomplished some incredible things. So I don't want to take away from amazing advances in technology that humans have achieved. And with each passing year, things that are technologically driven, technology helps us advance faster and faster all the time. So that's what we're seeing, and it's going to continue escalating like that. the remarkable things that humans are able to create. But I certainly will not discount the possibility that we had help along the way.
You agree to that? You agree with that?
I do. I do. I think that when you talk about noodling around in your brain in the middle of the night, I think more along the biblical theme than anything else. And I wonder about genetic manipulation and whether or not we're each time we're being upgraded a bit, seeing which DNA creates a better human and a better either robot or someone who is maybe more enlightened. And I think that it can go to either direction depending on what the overall needs are and goal is.
How much longer
Somebody screwed up on me?
How much longer before artificial intelligence takes over, surpasses us?
Before it takes over? Unfortunately, probably not too long.
Yeah. I mean, think about it.
I think that's coming soon.
Yeah.
Elon Musk actually said he thinks that AI is one of the biggest threats to humanity.
Yeah, I see it being incredibly helpful, incredibly awesome. I love technology, but I also could see that that's playing with fire, I think.
Yeah. And the question that all of us are asking, do aliens get their nipples tattooed also?
Does that mean that Maria has her nipples tattooed?
Yeah, also, yeah, there you go. I was getting ready to say that, Jason. Also, who else?
I mean, I know people do it, but I don't think nipples should be tattooed. But...
Unless it's like a beautiful flower.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
It's like a dandelion. What's going on?
I have stories. I have a story, but I'm not going there. Eyeballs. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Bad life choices, but I've seen them. Yeah.
I gotta share this. Let me pull this up.
What about this one?
Do we pull up nipple tattoos?
What about this one? Do aliens have soft hands like Kevin's?
Most
likely. Yeah, I would think so.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go, Maria. You heard it straight from our guest.
You're halfway there, Kevin.
Yeah. I own the soft hands.
Did you have any idea how much of a complete train wreck tonight was going to be for you, Jason?
Train wreck? This is gold.
Train wreck?
Yeah.
I'd like to think I put this show right on its track. We're rolling.
We are rolling. I did reach out to Ryan Sprague, who that's a cat. I love him. He's just the sweetest. He loves
you both as well.
Yeah, no, he is, and he's done some shows with us. We've had so much fun. But I was like, Ryan, if you're not busy, jump on and share a few minutes with us. And he had some stuff going on, but he did send me some questions to throw at you.
Oh,
of course
no.
he did. Of course he did.
Actually,
that's his favorite thing to do.
I wanted UFO questions, and he sent me UFO
Well,
questions.
you should have told him we were talking about nipples and everything else. So
I can text him right now, and he'll be like, yeah.
There was a show that I saw, one of the Star Trek, the newer ones, where Kirk is like running up against this woman with 3 breasts, I think. Or did I just totally make that up? So you never know. Okay, go on. Sorry. Sidebar to the
breakfast, lunch, and dinner. All right.
Yes, maybe.
All right. One of the questions: what is the craziest or weirdest thing you've experienced at a UFO conference? It sounds like he's alluding to something. He just wants you to spill the beans here.
Let's hear it. You can't stop now.
No.
Well, Ryan and I did get thrown out of a casino.
That was at the conference, right?
That was at the conference, yeah.
Oh, that was at the conference.
Yeah, that was
Damn,
at the
I want to go to
Congress.
that conference.
Yeah, no, some wild times.
All right, without giving away too much, how can you share a little bit why you got thrown out?
No, this is Universal Secrets. He has to tell the secret.
Yes.
No, that remains a secret. It remains a secret because, okay, here's the honest answer. I don't remember why we got thrown out. So there you go.
Cheers. There you go. That is the great. I don't remember.
That's how you know you did a UFO conference right.
good.
Okay, so I'm going to take a shot now because why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Why didn't you do it? I would have.
So, Kevin, what the question was? What's the craziest thing I've seen at a UFO conference? Is that what he asked?
He said. Well, he said the craziest thing. Weird. What is the craziest or weirdest thing you experienced at a UFO conference? Okay, I maybe left a word out. Craziest or weirdest? To me, he is trying to get you
He's
to
trying
say
to fish something out.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure which which thing he's
tell
referring
on
to.
him.
Yeah, right. No, I've got some stories. No, unfortunately, a lot of the stories I can't really share because they would not look good for certain people in the field.
I need a 40,000 fan soundbite of boo.
But one thing I already did share with you was, one of my favorite things is always getting Nick Pope drunk.
And sharing a dick pic with Tom.
That's a good thing. Yes. Was it your private part, or was it someone else you just pulled off the internet that you had to share with Tom DeLonge?
I didn't send the dick pic to Tom.
Can you describe this? We need a sketch artist here. Can we get a sketch artist and try to?
Oh man, do you want to hear something really funny? Oh God.
Always.
Oh Jesus. So I got my Lord and Savior. So I got a message from some guy in Pakistan or someplace, and he says, "Oh, your pictures, they're nice. They're really nice." and I might have been intoxicated, but I sent him a picture back of a behind of a dog with a tumor on it. And
well played.
The response was, what is that? What is And then I was like, block, delete. I'm done. That was my.
It's sexy. That's what it is.
It was the worst picture I could find. So,
well played. I like it.
Oh, you're really nice. Oh, your picture is really nice. It's like, here, I'll send you a good one.
Even with the accent, you're saying.
I don't know what kind of accent that was. It was definitely not Pakistani, but
it worked for the story.
It did. Thanks.
All right, another one of his questions. All right, now, okay, am I reading the right? Okay, what is the craziest or weirdest thing you've experienced in an
investigation?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good one. Let's see. One of my favorite memories on an investigation was actually a ghost hunt. Not related to UFOs, but doing a ghost hunt, and it wasn't while I was actually hunting for ghosts. I was just in bed. My wife and I were staying.
Wait, you were in bed? Oh,
I was in bed. Yeah. So we were staying at this haunted hotel, and it was night. So we got in bed. We're going to sleep, and before we'd gone to sleep, I put my glasses on the nightstand right next to us. The nightstand was kind of like over in the corner of this really old room, so like the sizing didn't work. It was very uncomfortable for the bed, not really a functioning nightstand. But I had to get out of the bed to put my glasses over on this nightstand. Well, we're asleep sometime in the night, and it's a haunted hotel, so your mind is always like thinking it hears things, but it's an old building, so everything is squeaking and clunking and making noise all night long. But at one point during the night, we both sat up in bed because we heard something in our room physically like hit the floor, like across the room, down somewhere at the foot of the bed. So we're kind of freaking out because we could tell it was in the room. We turned the light on. My glasses were on the floor, like on the other side of the room. There's no possible way that my hand could have reached them, that anything could have happened, that we would have done.
Even the moment of passion, one of your hands might have flew over and knocked it over.
Too far away.
We were asleep at this point, or at least mostly asleep. So we were awakened by this noise. So that did not happen.
Was there a cat in the room?
No cat.
Because
no cat.
When my cat wants
maybe
to
there's an
let
old cat
out,
that lives in an old hotel.
No,
A
but
ghost
my
cat.
cat
Could be a
will,
ghost cat.
I try to, he wants me to get up and let him out. And so he starts knocking crystals and my
Right.
glasses and
Total
like
cat thing.
everything. Of course. So maybe there was a past resident that was a kitty cat and you had some cat go, fine, you're not going to listen to me here. I'm going to toss your crap off the sink or on the nightstand.
Well, then that cat sucks
That's a cool
because the
one.
cat did not come and cuddle us and do the things that cats are supposed to do. You
No,
know,
cats are
just
supposed
bat
to
my
be
glasses and then
little
take
jerks.
off.
Yeah.
Well, they are.
Kitty.
No.
Yeah.
Again,
is
always
proof
possible,
that-
but yeah.
Yeah. Proof that this show is totally unscripted. Good
Yeah.
God, we're just all over. But that's
You guys are going too
like-
fast. I'm trying to read my script. You're going too fast.
You know, I stayed in a haunted bed and breakfast in New Orleans, and I had similar experience. It wasn't anything being knocked over, but somebody completely pulled the blankets off of the bed, and they were just crumpled at the bottom of the bed. And I'm sitting there
Wow.
shivering away.
Yeah.
And the door to the bathroom closed completely on its own. It didn't just go cheat. It went and shut. And it was like, I didn't feel any draft. It didn't feel like there was anything in the room. And they said, oh, that happens all the time. It's the previous owner. He make sure all the doors are closed in the evening. So that was
Well,
that
I was
sort
gonna
of
ask you
interesting.
if the toilet seat was up because it sounds like a jerk dude ghost. Because first
Oh,
he's
that's a
pulling the
good
the
question.
blankets off you to make you cold
Yeah.
while you sleep.
Yeah.
He's slamming the bathroom door
Yep.
without thinking about the fact that you're asleep.
I know.
So
Yeah.
inconsiderate.
Very. Absolutely. You're correct. Yes. And that was in the French Quarter. Yes. They said
That's
I've had
awesome.
terrifying experience in the French Quarter. It was also a gay bed and breakfast. So my boyfriend was being hunted down by the owners. They just had super crush on him.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Without scrolling in, shout out to our people with us tonight, chat, the conversation. They have their own conversation during the show, and then they're conversing with us. But someone asked a question earlier, and I can't go back and find it. But anyways, aliens, paranormal, is there a connection there? Or aliens, maybe ghosts? Is there a connection there for you, Jason?
I certainly think it's likely. I think it's likely. It's a
You're
possibility.
giving
I
all of
entertain.
the politically correct. Maybe just say yes or no.
I can't say yes or no. I could say it's likely. That's my mindset. I entertain that possibility. I don't close off, those possibilities. I think it's genuinely a possibility that these things are connected because these things are what they are because our human minds, put them in a category and say this is what it is. But, we don't. These things are unknown to us. They're these mysteries that we try to put in a box because humans like to put things in boxes and have things categorized and nice and neat. But they all could be related. Some of them could be related. I certainly think there's some good evidence to suggest that Bigfoot is probably an extraterrestrial or some other, not just an animal as we know animals.
Oh,
Brent's ears just went like this.
Yes, you just totally went woo-woo to the Bigfoot community.
I think that's more likely than just some random animal that hides well.
Bigfoot is arguably the greatest the world champion hide and seek.
Yeah.
Performer, player, whatever.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Bigfoot's
I
a
feel
ghost.
like
Can totally go invisible. Got superpowers.
Keep talking because I'm working on trying to get someone to join us. It's a kind of surprise. So
going back to the Bigfoot topic, my husband is as weird as I am, and that's probably why we love each other so much. Is I can talk about aliens and I can talk about my experiences, but when I have experiences, he's right beside me and he goes into investigative mode. Wow. So I'll tap him on his head and say, "They're here. There's something going on," and he immediately gets focused and says, what do they look like? What are they wearing? What are any distinguishable characteristics? How big is it? Where is it coming from? Is there a light surrounding it? Are there, can you smell anything? And in the the intense amount of questioning during these events has sort of created a bond, because
Yeah.
he believes in extraterrestrials, and he has actually filmed a UFO while in the air. He's a professional pilot, has been a
Wow.
pilot for 36 years. He is a believer because of the experiences that he's seen. So, having somebody who can ask some very important questions during an experience is almost like what I've been waiting for my whole life.
That's
And
huge.
and and I say that because most people that I've talked to have not had a supportive partner in their life to keep them grounded and to be able to share as well. So many people go and suffer in silence. And
Right.
that is probably the biggest detriment and atrocity within this community, is that so many people are suffering, and almost to the point of PTSD, and
Right.
some of them become very OCD about their behaviors in order to either prevent another occurrence or to just try to make them feel as safe as possible. So your Bigfoot commentary, I think that there is a supernatural element to the big hairy man. Whether it's cloaking ability, that might be something that is more technological and alien than
Sure.
just that of what we consider a full blood animal.
All right,
Yeah.
hold that thought, because I've got a guest that's
What
going
did
to
you
come
do,
on.
Kevin?
Someone's going to come on and ask a question for themselves.
Oh no.
Look at this.
So what's all this? Jason, spill the beans.
This is, she just moved. I'm messaging her, and I'm like, come on, I can't. I just moved.
I can't.
My hair's a
Look at my
mess.
hair.
Blah,
I'm
blah,
a
blah.
You look gorgeous
It's
as
Yeah.
usual.
echoey.
You
I've
look
got
gorgeous.
No furniture. Look, I'm waiting for my furniture to arrive. There's
Kitty.
It's like, oh my God. So Kev said, come on. I said, no, I can't.
I
I
can't.
can't.
But I will. Jason.
This.
Great show tonight. But Jason, I have to ask you, what about alien implants? What are your thoughts?
Oh.
Alien implants are so fascinating to me because there's been, actual scientific study of objects removed from bodies. And, it's fascinating when you see some of these objects that are emitting radio signals, doing interesting things, melding with the body when they should be rejected from the body. It's fascinating. I have no idea what these objects are. They certainly shouldn't be there, and many of them are shown to be technological. I find that fascinating. I have no explanation for it. Could they be extraterrestrial? You bet they could. But we definitely know that implants are real. What they are, where they come from, I don't know.
What's funny is that
Do you
we're
know-
having Terry Lovelace as a guest to Contact at the Compound. And he is a character that has had multiple implants that have been monitored. And, being an I believe it was Air Force, he has sort of that leg in, leg out when it comes to the government aspect, which I found a lot of the really good experiencer who come and give their truth. I find a lot of them have that military past.
Yeah, true.
They do. And you know what? I said this to Kevin Tiff. I was present when Dr. Roger Lear was a really good friend of mine. And I was allowed to go in the remove. Oh my God, I got low power mode on my phone.
Oh, no.
I was allowed to go in when they were removing an implant.
Right.
And if I hadn't have seen it for my own eyes, Jason, I'd have probably totally questioned it. But this thing was unbelievable. And it was what do we call it? It wasn't metallic. It was all biological. And it was two halves, and it had a black strip running down the middle of it. And, everybody says the same thing when these things come out, that they feel this whole new sense of freedom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's weird, because it's like they're under control.
or just being monitored and you have that queasy feeling all the time.
Yeah. No, I was extremely lucky to spend a lot of time with Dr. Roger Lear, and at Open Minds we participated in some of the removals and some of the testing. Having access to somebody like Roger and getting to see that stuff firsthand, it is powerful stuff, and it'll definitely change your mind when it comes to implants and the implant discussion.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I just wanted to step in here and say hi. And
I'm so glad you did, Tracy.
She's such a badass. Even in a bun, she still looks fucking amazing. So.
Yeah, she does.
Well, thank you. I don't feel it. I'm sweating like I don't know what. So all my furniture arrives tomorrow. Oh my God, it's going to be a crazy day.
Well, good luck with your move. I'm hoping you get very comfortable very fast. And
thank you.
And get that over with.
I will, but I still say there's nothing in Sedona. There's no mall. There's no nothing. One dry cleaner.
Look up in the sky. Maybe there's something to be in the sky for you, Tracy.
Is there a TJ Maxx?
Because there are no street lights out here. It's pitch black at night.
Well, there you go. Tracy, thanks so much.
Thank you, Tracy.
You're a friend of the show. You can come on anytime. We'll be in touch.
Thank you for taking time out of your schedule.
Love you, Tracy.
I'm going to go back to my washing machine and my dryer.
Okay, good.
We'll continue talking about nipple tattoos.
Yeah.
Oh, great. I'll still be listening.
All right.
Thanks, Tracy.
Bye.
She is so cool. Tracy Austin, as I call it, Stone Cold Tracy Austin. So cool. Real quick, going back to Mr. Sprague, his last question: if you could hire a whole team for TTSA, who would you pick and why? All right, go on and get it out of the way. You'd pick Ryan. Why?
That's not a given. That's not a given.
Tiffany, your eyes perked up.
Oh, man. I don't know.
Try to keep it clean, Kevin. I got to keep you under control.
Kevin gave that up a while ago.
Yeah, no.
We all did. I can't answer that one. That would take some serious thought. If I'm going to put my dream team together.
Come on, just rattle off. All right, Ryan.
Well, I'll tell you right now. I'll rattle off.
Have Ryan as what would Ryan's role be in this? Real quick, just not passive. Oops. Ryan would be legit. What would his role be?
His role would be the model for all of our ads.
The model. Yes, he's diva.
Come on, he could interview experiencers like crazy.
Yes, absolutely. No, Ryan's amazing, and I mean, I am a firm believer in wearing lots of hats. So any team I put together, everybody's going to be doing a lot of everything.
But
we're not going to compartmentalize this. Yes, absolutely. But I'm going to expect everybody on the team to perform every duty.
There you go. I like it.
Obviously, we're going to highlight, specific strengths that people have, but everybody's going to do everything. It's a team effort.
What would be your strength?
My strength would be assembling the best team possible.
Audrey says Jason can hire me to make sure the bourbon bar is stocked.
Truth be told, we already gave that job to Audrey. Audrey already has that job, and she is fantastic at it. No, but I would also take Shane Hurd. The team I've assembled at Rogue Planet is my first go-to. I chose to align myself with these people because I love them and they have amazing skills and can do what would need to be done. I mean, Shane is I think, Assistant State Director of MUFON for Arizona. Great. But he's an incredible investigator. He has those investigative chops to be able to do boots on the ground investigation. That's huge. My colleague Maureen Ellsbury, I worked with her for years at Open Minds. She is amazing. She's great on camera.
Too.
She is a great mind, a great investigative mind, and she's a great people person. So those are the three I would go with right away. But I don't know.
Outside of those three?
I'll have to get back to you.
Is everybody in the UFO community how do I phrase this right? All right, let me backtrack. Is there anybody in the UFO community that doesn't get the props that they deserve for all the work and stuff they do? This is where you can give a shout out to somebody who.
I mean, I think Cheryl Costa is amazing. Cheryl Costa is doing some of the best work in this field, and her book, hers and Linda's book, and the work they're doing with stats is huge. Yeah. That UFO desk reference is, I think, a must-have for anybody doing research in this field.
But give you a warning, it's not a novel.
No, you're not going to sit down and have that on the nightstand.
I did. No. And then I was like, son of a bitch, this isn't what I thought I was getting into.
What page 7 of book again?
It's huge, but
it's huge.
It's mostly like, it's just like charts of data. And I mean,
it's all hard data.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is. But
I mean, who reads a stat book? Come on.
I mean, it's a great reference for like if you're looking up this year in this city and see how many events there were. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think their work is invaluable.
Yes, absolutely. And and she's ex-military also.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. This is where I'm gonna I want you to give a shout out to one of our friends, Peter Robbins. You were on his show last night. There again, I can't remember if we talked during the show. I know we talked pre-show, but he's one of the just good guys in this community.
Peter Robbins is such a sweetheart.
Who's Peter Robbins to you?
Peter's a sweetheart. He's a dear friend. I've known him for many years now. I don't know, probably 15 years. But Peter is just the kindest, gentlest soul, always there to listen, always there to offer advice. He's a genuine person. You won't see Peter faking anything. He is genuine. He doesn't hide his feelings. He certainly won't go after anybody or try to hurt feelings. Peter is a kind, caring, loving person, and that's just who Peter is. But he's somebody I've known for a long time in this field, and he's just one of my absolute favorites. I can't say a bad word about Peter. I can say a bad word about a lot of people in this field, but not Peter.
Well, speaking of bad words, when we had him on, once he was able to drop the F-bomb once, it might have been 20 times by the end of the night. And I absolutely love that. It's one of my favorite words.
That's Peter.
Well, Kevin, it's one of my favorite words. And I do you know, it's hard for me not to. I get it because it's
so strong. It makes the fucking point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I use it so much. It's lost its emphasis, I think.
Alien boob implants. Help me out, guys. If there's such thing as alien boob implants, I can't. Ugh, that's one of those words. I hate saying that word.
Boob. What's wrong with boob?
It's just,
You're a boob, Kevin.
I'm an adult male. I mean, I'm like, no, I'm. So what size?
My girls and I call them nibbles.
Nibbles.
Nibbles. Nibbles, because my daughters can't say nipples. Nibbles. They're the nibbles. And they are nibblelicious, so I don't know. What's wrong with that? Oh God. Why is it? Why are we talking about that again? I can't remember.
I mean, that became the theme of the show. I don't know how, but
it's still part of the whole UFO alien. We're still in that. What she just said, alien. But she used the word alien. So once you use the word alien, you can follow it up with anything else.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, we were talking about alien implants. So the next logical step is alien boob implants. So.
Yeah.
Yes, Kevin is a.
That's right. I said that.
You did say. Where was this? See, this is the part of the show, Tiffany, that I like when something just veers way off the road.
I think we're ready for your final thoughts, Kevin. I think we're ready for your questions at the end.
Dun, 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 dun. I need a soundbite to kind of roll this.
Look at this
Boobies.
one.
Oh,
alien booby trap.
And
Nice.
We call them
Tatas. Yes.
Again, much love to Tracy Austin for hanging with us tonight.
Tracy's certainly the best thing that's happened in this episode. I'm just saying.
Oh wow! Did another blonde just one up you, Tiffany? See, I'm here. Hold up before you answer that question.
I'm not ashamed.
I am, as you know, I'm clearly Tiffany and I are great friends, and but with all due respect, Tracy, I think. I've got the blonde, the perfect blonde as my co-host. So, not that you're okay. Let me you're blonde.
Now I'm just a blonde bimbo.
No.
Damn it!
Well, you coughed up.
Well, Jason's blonde too, so maybe you're talking about him.
Is it blonde, Jason?
It looks blonde. It's not actually blonde. It's a lifetime of living in the Arizona sun has bleached my bright red hair.
I'm all natural here. There's gray in
barely. Right. My goodness,
barely.
Kevin. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got soft hands and black hair.
And my candle game. There's I don't know if you notice it.
Yeah.
The whole candle game in the background is a whole different narrative. It's taken on.
Candle game is strong, but you can't say boob. So
I can't.
I don't know what that's about.
We'll talk offline, but I do love. Look at real quick before we go into our behind the secrets segment. Narrate what's going on in the background there, Jason.
There's so much. There's so much back there. I see a massive Fox alien head.
Dana,
that's probably a green screen, and nothing's actually back there. No, I'm kidding. No. All sorts of things, but since you mentioned the alien, I will point out that is the same alien costume that Fife Symington had his aide wear at the Phoenix Lights press conference.
Is that that's the
not the one, not the one,
replica.
But it's the same alien costume. Yeah.
Wow.
Gotcha. I'm still not happy about that.
There you go. Tracy, you're like 1A.
Thank you.
Tiffany's 1. Tracy's 1A.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Are you a bit? I don't know if we talked about this. X-Files fan?
I'm an X-Files fan. I wouldn't say I'm a huge X-Files fan, but I'm an X-Files fan. Absolutely.
Well, to leave the word "huge" out is blasphemy. Just saying. But you do have the poster. I do. That's Fox and Dana in the background, right?
Yes.
Is that who I'm saying? So
yes,
okay.
Little bobbleheads.
Okay, so if you're not a huge fan, there's still a lot of X-Files.
He's still geeking out in the background.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, I don't hide my geekery. I wear it proud.
Okay. I have one thing that I want to show y'all before
really? Is this
discussing that.
Not a dick pic.
I hope it's the dog ass.
Well,
picture,
I was getting ready to stand up. It could be hold on one second. Let me see if I have that.
Oh boy.
Like a 10 to me.
Kevin, I'm sorry I derailed the show.
No, this is
everything I was hoping it would be.
No, this is everything about this show tonight. And Tiffany, as she's getting plugged in, everything about this show tonight is who we are. Our show is a serious and not so serious show. It's entertainment, and some people haven't got us. Tiffany, it's fair to say. We've had guests on who's just like,
it's their loss.
What's going on here? Because we've had a few guests that come on and think that it's like going to be serious at a fucking 10, and we're making jokes, and we're not. Well, we didn't. Past shows, we didn't talk boobs to all this, but show us what you got to. I'm so turned on right now.
Oh man, I love that.
This is from Papa Tom, and this was my present a few years ago. That's
amazing.
awesome. Isn't
I
that
really
awesome?
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. My girls want to use it as a nightlight, and I won't let them because I don't want it to get destroyed.
Smart
So,
move.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome.
Super special. So thank you, Tom, for the amazing UFO gift. I know that he has sold them in the past at different conferences like the Ozark conference, but I think that they probably take a lot of time and effort. So I know occasionally he'll have one put out there. So if you're interested, contact Tom anytime. But
All right.
Very cool.
Jason, we're rounding third and heading for home. Tiffany, is Brent home tonight?
Depends.
Yes or no
Depends
question?
on if somebody is going to try to break in tonight. Yes, my husband's home.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Okay.
no, he's not.
All right.
And
Well, here's
if
the
you
thing.
try to come over, you won't
That's
survive
not,
anyway.
I'm just respectful because if he's home, I want to keep the show at a certain time because you can leave the show and you go to him. But if he's not, if he's
Why?
flying,
This is my Tuesday night.
okay, I'm just saying. All right, so I don't feel so bad if he's in another flying at 30,000 miles or 30,000 feet somewhere.
50,000, wherever it is.
Yeah. So much love to Brent. Oh, that's my guy.
Yeah.
All right. Behind the Secrets segment. This is our little rapid fire. And I gotta come up with probably some different questions because
that would be nice,
a lot.
Kevin.
Okay, but the thing is that for our guests, these are the first time they're hearing some of these, so play along.
Yeah. Okay.
First concert.
First concert was the Specials and the Cherry Poppin' Daddies.
Cherry Poppin' Daddies.
Never
Remember
heard
the
of them.
swing revival of the late 90s?
Oh,
I do
yes,
know,
I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cherry.
Yeah, so
Poppin'
Hepcat
Daddies.
is a ska band, and Cherry Poppin' Daddies.
Ska is like South African? Is that
It's
what
Jamaican.
that is?
It was
Jamaican.
the official music of Jamaica. They created it in the 60s to celebrate their independence.
Cool.
Okay.
Texting or talking?
Well, since this is rapid fire, I'll just say texting. Depends on the situation and what needs to be achieved with that discussion, but texting usually. Most things can be achieved with short conversations.
Yeah. Though I argue with my kids routinely because they're all about texting. And if I have to respond to them with more than a sentence, I want to talk. I don't want to text. I don't feel like freaking typing.
You can talk to your phone and have it right.
I do that too, but what
voice
comes
to
out of
text,
that?
Yeah, there's that. But
I didn't say I used that feature. But
Oh, I did. Okay, let me give you an example of those. Let me tell you one thing.
Oh, I know.
So I had an electrician that was supposed to be coming over, and he sort of had a little thing for me, but it was sort of not really talked about. He had asked me out once, and I'm like, no. So he said, I'll be there in 15 minutes. I said, great. I'm humping in the shower. Be with y'all. Be right out. And he said,
I'm humping in the
humping. Yeah, I'm humping in the shower. And he was like, I can give you an extra 20 if you need. And then I saw it. I was like, hopping.
Yeah.
This is soundbite gold on this show tonight. All right.
I have enough problems with the autocorrect when I'm typing.
I know.
Yeah, it's a disaster when you're speaking.
All right. Would you rather be able to speak every language in the world or be able to talk to animals?
Talk to animals.
That's a great question. I love that one.
I like that question.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how good of a driver are you? Well,
8.
you're a guy, so that means you're a 10.
No, I am happy to admit that my wife is a much better driver than I am.
Okay, my turn, Kevin.
Ask? Okay.
Yeah. Bucket list. What's the number one location on it?
Number one location on my bucket list would have to be, probably Bora Bora.
Okay, awesome.
What's yours, real quick, Tim?
Amalfi Coast.
The third planet on Zeta Reticuli?
No, Amalfi Coast or Positano, Italy. Haven't been there yet, and it is one. It's there. It's going to happen.
Is that a nudist beach too?
I'm sure they don't mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
If a German goes to the beach, do they wear clothes? No.
There you go. Invisibility or super strength?
Invisibility.
What would you do? What would be one of the first things you would do with that invisibility? This is
voyeur all the way.
Voyeur.
I could entertain myself for all eternity just with voyeurism. I mean,
nothing like people watching in a very different
people
level.
watching
at a very different level.
I guess that's a more appropriate way to say it.
There you go.
It would be people watching.
I'm just browsing. If you could travel back in time, what period would you go to?
Mid-century, 50s or 60s.
Oh, this century. Okay, you did say mid-century. On a scale,
Oh,
I'm not going back before toilet paper. Give me a break.
Okay, Kevin, my turn.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is sort of a significant one specifically to you. If you were to name your own song, what would you name it?
Name my own song?
Didn't you do that with someone? Did you send the lyrics to someone to create a song?
I did.
Did you totally forget about it?
I don't know that story. What's that story? What?
So, yeah, no.
Put you on the spot. I'm sorry.
We literally have
I just don't remember when this
dead air.
when this happened. Well, you wanted a good soundbite. I mean, you need dead air, but yeah. So one of my favorite bands is Less Than Jake, and Less Than Jake. Well, all bands really stopped touring because of the pandemic, and so the lead singer of that band during the pandemic decided to start a podcast and start doing like corporate recording for people who wanted jingles recorded and things like that. And so one of the web series that I do periodically with one of my friends, spaceflight historian Amy Shira Title, is called the Punk Rocker Moonstomper Program, where we talk about our shared love of punk, ska, animals, space, UFOs, all that stuff. So we wanted to redo our theme song. So I wrote out lyrics for it and then reached out to Chris, the lead singer of Less Than Jake, and said, hey, I know you're doing this theme song thing. Would you be willing to do our theme song? And I sent him the lyrics. He sent back the song, and it was pretty awesome to have a song that, I wrote lyrics to have cool. Chris do the theme song for it.
That is so cool. Jeez. That's actually probably on my bucket list that I haven't laid out. I'm such a music guy, and to be able to do that, write lyrics to that's amazing.
To have one of your favorite musicians sing those lyrics, it was pretty badass.
I can't believe it wasn't Tom DeLonge.
Well, I don't think Tom would do that for me. But, no, I do love Tom too. But yeah, Kevin, we should talk about music sometime. I mean, I started my professional career in the music industry.
No shit. Wow. I'm such a music fan. Jason, whether you want to get blasted after this show or not, you're going to, because you got to come back on. Here's what I want to do. Let's plan this. And this is for our audience because they're digging Jason tonight. You, Ryan, Maureen, whoever you want on, let's have a fun night with all your friends, your BFFs, who will be Ryan, we love Ryan. So we got to get that planned.
He'll be the hardest sell, I'm sure. Yeah, dude, that would be amazing. I would love to do that.
We'll do that. All right.
Okay. No. My turn.
I thought you asked the last one.
I don't care.
No, it's your turn. Go ahead.
No, she's up.
So, since you've been on television for so many years on different shows, have you ever been mistaken as another famous person?
No, I can't say that's ever happened. No.
Ron Jeremy?
Ron Jeremy a couple times, but I was more offended than anything. But
Well, it was the waist down is what gave it a.
Good Lord, Kevin.
He started it all tonight with the dick pic.
I did. All my fault. I take responsibility. You knew what you were getting into. I mean,
I know.
No,
you invited me on your show.
This is gold. This is gold. I mean, Tiffany, we've alluded back. We love talking the paranormal. We love talking UFOs and aliens, but we like to have a good time on Tuesday night. And Jason has just killed it. And as Maria said, it's a clusterfuck of a show, and we love
Kevin,
it.
you keep bringing it up, and my mother is going to be just so
Did your mom not? Is she not a advocate of the F word?
No, she tells me not to say it constantly.
Okay,
but where does she stand on the word boob?
Probably a little bit better.
There's Maria.
Boob's a little bit better.
Maria is our hashtag queen. She comes up with all that.
Yes.
Thank you, MD.
Okay, Kevin, your turn.
All right. So, what's a pet peeve? I know there's shit that drives you crazy. What does drive you crazy?
Not much drives me crazy. I'm a pretty mellow guy. It takes a lot to annoy me. Okay. But yeah, no, I
You've not been annoyed tonight for the
I have not been annoyed tonight.
It's good to know.
How could I be annoyed with you two? Come on, this has been great.
Look at that smile. See, I'm gonna give something away. Half the reason why I love doing this show is that right there. Look at her face. That smile. When I hear her laugh, snort, that's a thing. When she snorts, that's when I'm like, I got her.
He got me.
Nice.
That is
good work.
That's gold to me.
But see, the thing is, my whole philosophy in this world is I've been through so much shit that if I didn't laugh, I would freaking crack.
I got your back.
One of the best interviews I ever saw was Stephen King had him saying, if I didn't write this, I'd be out doing it. It's cathartic. This is therapy. Right. Writing these stories and getting them out of my system is how I function. And the same thing with me. With me, I've put on a smile for so long. Getting through things day to day, different situations, you can build it up and you can smile, or you can look like you're dying. I would rather put the smile on and find the lighter side of the situation than drag everybody down around me. Who wants that? Right. So if you can laugh about the situation, situations may be tough.
Or at yourself.
Or at myself. Yes, I can do that. And I think that people need an amount of levity, yes. But realize at the end of the day, people are being bogged down by enough. Yeah. Let's give them something to enjoy and show them that you can show them that the world can be a lighter place. So
we can get along.
I like that.
Yeah. All right. Last Halloween costume. Ron.
Wow. I think the last costume I actually wore, I think was a giant playing card, like an ace, because again, back to my days in the music industry, bands knew me. They referred to me as Ace. Somebody gave me a nickname Ace because
is that where that name? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that's how I got the name Ace as a nickname. And the bands I would deal with, they would all know me as Ace. So
that's cool.
I had a costume that somebody got me that was like a playing card. You put this big thing on and you're a giant ace. So
I was thinking that you were talking down the rabbit hole and with, the Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah. Mad Hatter.
Christopher Jack. That's, yeah. Okay.
A little bit.
Does he act like him though?
There
you go.
Yeah. I've been told that before.
The glasses.
Probably the stylish glasses.
Yeah. Those glasses are amazing. All right, favorite ice cream flavor.
So I'm vegan, but I do eat a lot of ice cream. Ben & Jerry's has amazing vegan ice cream, and they've got a vegan version of their Netflix and Chill, and that is amazing. It's really good. I think it's got pretzels in it, and it's so good.
So you're still an ice cream fan? You don't go to gelato or something like that instead?
No, by default I'll go to ice cream. Gelatos, I got to be in the right mood for that, Certainly if I'm walking around Italy, I'll get some gelato.
Amen. Gotcha.
The original Genghis Khan. Those are cool fries. Those are cool fries.
Oh, thank you.
Spumoni is my favorite too, Tracy. I think we went there last time with you. Yes. If you found $2,000 on the ground, what would you do with it?
Oh, good one.
$2,000 on the ground.
What?
Right? Because it's different than 1,000. I think it's a great question.
And there was no one else around.
Right. Right now, I'd probably give it to some charity, as funny as that sounds, because, I'm fortunate to have a job right now, and I know a lot of people aren't. A lot of people are going through hard times, so I would probably find some way, somebody I could help out with it, because, like I said, I'm fortunate to have a job, I'm okay, but $2,000 I could really impact somebody's life, I hope.
Once again, this guy's a genuinely sweet man. All right, name one of the 7 dwarfs.
Oh, Sleepy I love because I love sleeping.
Amen.
Cake or pie?
Depends on the cake, but pie.
Giving presents or getting presents?
Who doesn't love getting presents? I love that, but I would say giving. I like to be a giver.
Would you rather be able to control time or be able to know what other people are thinking?
Knowing what other people are thinking could be very advantageous, but I think I'd have more fun with controlling time. I could get into all sorts of trouble with that one.
We've kind of gotten in trouble tonight in probably some people's views, but
that didn't require messing with time at all.
It's how we roll. Here's one for you. In your heart of hearts,
that's mine.
Not if I'm reading it. Do snitches get stitches?
I don't know what that means.
What? If you tell on somebody, do you get cut?
You spank?
You get shanked?
In the shower?
I guess my answer is for the most part, no, you don't snitch. Come on.
You don't. All right.
So you get stitches.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Yep.
You talked about your rock star background. Was there singing involved? And this is
I never said rock star.
He
I said music industry.
Production.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Music industry.
But,
no, I didn't do any singing.
Okay. Well then, all right. Here you go. How would you rate your karaoke skills on a scale of 1 to Mariah Carey?
Whoa. Well, no one can compare to Mariah.
I heard a snort, Tiffany. There he is.
But my honest answer here is I have never done karaoke.
For real?
Oh.
I've never done it.
Oh, man.
You have to have... late?
No.
What do you do in October, the weekend of October 9th?
Yeah.
But I am a decent singer, so.
Him and Micah on the same little circle around.
Micah and I have gotten into so much trouble before.
Yeah, that's the best part.
That would take the whole circle jerk to a different level.
Good Lord.
Someone actually said that. That was Maria. Actually, I think Maria referenced circle jerk earlier.
Right. We're going to have to put a rating on this show. Okay.
One of my best memories with Micah Hanks is drunk mini golf.
Really?
Nice. Oh, Kevin, do we have that video?
You and
me and Micah?
I'll look, but keep talking. You get
okay.
some pleasure,
Look for the video.
Right. Do you have it?
I do somewhere. Yeah. Let's see.
If you have it, send it to me.
Okay, I have a question. Okay, and then I'll look. Right, Jason, what is the stupidest thing that you've ever done?
Coming on this show, give me a break. I've destroyed your show. I've destroyed my reputation.
You did destroy shit. You elevated our show took our show to a different level. Oops, did I do that? Oh, my bad. Let's go ahead.
Okay, real answer. Stupidest thing I've ever done.
Oh, look at this. Thank you,
Yes.
Audrey.
Way to go, Audrey.
True.
Audrey's the best.
Yes. Audrey, where you been all my life? All right. So what? Go ahead. Answer the question. Okay.
All right. So, I mean, this is not a fun answer, but I will say, growing up in Arizona, living here most of my life, I was never a fan of sunscreen. I loved getting sunburned for some reason because I enjoy the feeling of like peeling. It's disgusting.
What the hell?
But yeah, so, you know, when I was 37 or 38 or something, I got skin cancer and had to get it cut off my face. So, you know, that's catching
real?
up to me. So,
Really?
you know, avoiding sunscreen in Arizona was not the smartest
Did you really
move,
get cancer?
so. Yeah.
Really? Are you okay?
Yeah. I've got a nice scar here on my face where it was cut out a giant hole and then they stitched my face back up.
Can you like zoom in? No, I'm kidding. You know. All right. Whoa. Tiffany, did you send me that? That is a great video, by the way. Please send it to me so he can critique it and have a good time with it.
Where should I send it?
To Messenger. It'd be so much easier
Okay.
for me to upload.
All right.
All right. Let's see. Toilet paper, over or under?
Over.
Who inspires you?
Unless you have a cat.
Unless you have a cat. Yeah, no, that's a good answer, but always over. But Kevin, you are my role model. You inspire me every day.
All right. I'm gonna send you my cell phone number, and you can send me pics later. So,
Good Lord.
because we are guys, we're dudes. It's fun. Because he'll send it, and then I will critique it. And then, all right. So,
Good
give me
Lord.
We're all going to get our nipples tattooed after this, though, right?
we are. This is my guy right here, Tiffany. Where's your happy place?
My happy place is, I have two of them that are my main happy places. One is San Diego, California. The other is Las Vegas, Nevada.
What's gone on in Vegas that stayed in Vegas? That's not one of my questions, but not one of my scripted questions, but
You know that question can't be answered.
that can't be answered. That's a good point. All right, here's one.
No. My turn. Do you care about reviews?
That's a great question.
I do and I don't. You know, obviously,
Well, that narrows it down.
well, obviously, if you know, we're talking about reviews to things that I create or things that I've done, you know, it's hard not to take it personally. And obviously, you want the things you create, you want people to like, you want to have people enjoy. It's hard to not have it hurt or take it personally if people don't. Mm-hmm. That being said, I don't do what I do to please other people. I do the things I do because they have meaning for me, or I get something out of it. I know that sounds selfish, but you know, sometimes that's how you have to go through life. You have to remember that you are you and it's your life. So, you know, I focus on me. With the products I create, I try to create the best product that I can, and I do it the way I want to do it, put the things out that I want to put out, and I leave it at that. I hope people like it. If they don't, then, you know, that's perfectly fine. They're allowed to do that. And there's plenty of content for people to find what they actually enjoy.
Do you need an editor?
Editing is one of my favorite things.
Okay.
No,
Cool.
no.
Do you go through a book and highlight the mistakes like I do?
I don't highlight the mistakes, but I certainly notice them.
I highlight them.
Good for
My
you.
daughter just went
Yep.
through. She's reading a book that I read about a decade ago, and she goes, "I'm wondering why these words are highlighted." I said, "Think about it and read the sentence again." She's like, "Why is it wrong?" And I'm like, "That's why." And she started going through every single book, and she's like, "There's so many highlights."
Wow.
It's a little OCD, I guess.
Real quick, Tracy. You know, I'll show this. What happened?
That's the damn truth.
Yeah, but Tracy, I'm gonna challenge you. Whatever from this point on, what goes on in Sedona, please share with the rest of us.
I like that. I like that.
Sedona. Or how did she say? Slow Dona? Is that what she said, Tiffany?
Slow donut. Yeah.
Slow Dona.
Yeah.
All right. Here's one. I had a friend who's watching this and messaged me this question, and I thought this is fucking awesome. And I'm gonna share this with you two, and I'm gonna share it with who's still with us. Answer this in the chat because this is a great question. All right, guys, and Jason gets to answer first, then Tiffany. Ask yourself, how old would you be if you didn't know the day you were born? So right now, all right.
It's sort of a profound concept. Like, how old do you feel, or how?
Again, let me read it. Ask yourself, how old would you be if you didn't know the day you were born? So right now, how you're feeling mentally, physically. I'll share it. 5'4" for me. I'm pretty confident I don't look my age. I sure as hell don't act it. So like my answer would be,
I agree with that.
Probably 40. Mid 40s at best. Tiffany, why are you smiling? You not agreeing? What?
She knows you're a big child. She
reels me in. This is my bestie, almost like a mommy. She just come back in. So Jason, what?
Probably 40.
40.
Probably 40.
But see, I don't know how old you are, so I don't know what that means.
And I'm not going to tell you. No, come on, give me a break. I'm 41. So,
are you? No.
He's the baby of the group. Oh my goodness.
He's okay. Yeah. Wait a minute, 40 and 41. No, you okay.
I'm turning 43 in 2 days. So
I know.
Birthday's coming up, and I don't feel
you ruined my moment. I was gonna get like the whole people to do a pre-birthday happy thing and all this.
But yeah, so I agree. Well, I've got 3 kids. I have traveled the world. I feel like I'm probably older than I am, but I've always felt sort of like an old soul. And I feel like I'm working 24 hours a day because my nighttime adventures exhaust me. So I feel like I've lived twice as long as I have. How's that sound?
Yeah, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And I guess it depends on the day for me too. I mean, sometimes I feel a lot older than I am, but
when you have bones that are like creaking and you're like, oh
yeah,
oh God. Yeah. But that's probably overexertion as a young athlete.
I think the aliens need to work on their model the next time around.
Exactly. Right. That's right.
Well, I finished my questions. Tiffany, we're at 2 hours and 20 some minutes.
Oh, good Lord.
But he's out of town, so we're good. Final thoughts. Tiffany, give us something, final take, question, comment to Mr. Jason Sensation.
Jason, this was a wonderful experience getting to know you better and you playing along with us. Sometimes it's not as easy as you would think.
Him. Well, hold on.
I know.
We played along with him tonight.
Yeah.
I might have instigated. I'm sorry.
You know what though? We enjoy that, and I'm glad that you have a sense of humor that you can share with us. So stay with us after. That's when we have our after beverage with our guests.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah.
And
for a few more minutes.
Yeah, a few more minutes. And, thank you for sharing your intelligence, and your dedication to this subject has been noted. And we hope to see lots more of you, not just on, podcasting and our show, but on the mainstream. I can't wait because I still have a series that I haven't watched about you. Or with you. So I'll be doing that this week. If I can get a hold of Kevin's password.
There you go.
I got you covered. Yeah, Jason, you know where you stand with me. You're in some ways like a little soul brother. Love you. You are. I've been a follower, a fan you. And what you do is just cool. It's fun. It's refreshing. So from me to you, keep doing your thing. Yeah, as Stone Cold says, you're a star. You are a star. And you bring a very cool perspective to the whole ufology thing. And from me to you, thanks so much for doing this tonight. Please do it again. And we'll I'm trying to think, the next time we do it, we're going to potentially take it to a different level. Share with the audience. Yeah, but let's keep it weird. Why not? Share with the audience the best ways to connect with you.
Absolutely. So pretty much everything I do, I post at my website, rogueplanet.tv. I'm very active on social media throughout the day, mostly on Twitter, and you can see my Twitter handle right there at Acentric. So that is the best way to follow everything that I'm up to.
He came on and killed it, Tiffany. People, if you are watching live tonight, please give us a thumbs up on the feed or the live stream. Like it, follow, subscribe to all of our social media channels. In the description is the link to how you can connect with us. Tiffany, another fun night. We took it to a different level, and I'm fucking okay with that. It's okay to be fun and be entertaining with this topic, with the paranormal.
Tonight I felt sort of like we were on Howard Stern.
Who's Howard tonight?
You're Howard, Kevin.
So you were Robin?
Yes, I was Robin tonight.
No, you be Howard. I'll be Robin.
Okay. Well, I'm just not as brave as he is. How's that?
He
probably has soft hands like you, Kevin.
He probably does. Yeah.
Tiffany, you're my hero. So.
Aww.
Good stuff tonight. Jason, thanks so much for doing this. Tiffany, you get as always, sign off. Give our audience a little final word for the night.
Well, thank you guys for hanging with us. I want you to realize that we are going to be sharing more information on Contact at the Compound. It's coming up the 7th through the 10th, and the actual broadcast of October. And the broadcast will be on the 9th, which is a Saturday night. So please plan on joining us.
At least 3 hours.
I'm going to try to keep it to 3 hours, Kevin, because any more than that
we'll be drunk in stupor.
It could be. I mean, last time you drank a magnum of wine by yourself. So I'm going to have to make sure that we can last and have the content flow accordingly.
Micah Hanks within elbow reach.
Yeah, and you know what? He's got a lot of activities going on that'll be interesting to hear. But he is going to help us moderate, and it's going to be a great time. So, Jason, thank you for joining us. We look forward to everything that you're doing in the future. I trust your judgment, and you've been a very great, impactful person. And thank you for spending your time with us tonight, because I know that you could probably do other things that were probably more valuable.
I mean, it is Taco Tuesday.
Tuesday.
I know. Well,
and it is #Tiffany Tuesday. Just saying.
Yes. And
no one has anybody said no to you, Tiffany?
Like I said, people tell me no all the time. It's usually my husband, like, no, don't leave me.
Yeah. All right. Tiffany Mack, Kevin Hale, our guest tonight, friend Jason McClellan. Good stuff tonight. Everyone, have a good night. Have a good rest of your week. We'll be back next week. Tiffany, do we know real quick who we have next? Oh, Kathleen, right?
Kathleen Martin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yes.
Oh, that might be a little more serious than
I think it
sweetheart, but yeah, serious.
It'll be more serious. So
yeah, I don't think she's going to be referring to anything about sending text to Tom.
No nipple tattoos that I know of.
No. It'll be a little bit more calm, but she's awesome. A great lady. So we look forward to that.
All right. Peace and love, our friends. Take care. This has been Universal Secrets.